Bradley Beal is not only one of the greatest shooting guards in the NBA, but he's also one of the most overall loyal players, playing his entire career so far with the Washington Wizards. So it's recently been reported that he is going to be declining his player option and entering unrestricted free agency. For today's video, we are going to talk about every single NBA trade, rumor, and speculation over the course of the past 24 hours, including Bradley Beal and which team he could sign with next. Okay guys, so straight up, the past 24 hours for NBA free agency and the offseason and trades and everything else that we cover here on this channel has been absolutely insane. There is a story that's absolutely going to blow your mind, man. Before we get going on it though, because I'm telling you, this one's a doozy, guys. Straight up, I cannot grow this channel without you. Please, man, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and liking the video, it really is the difference between me being able to do this as a career and everything like that. Also, when we do hit 290,000 subscribers, as you guys can see right here, we got Damian Lillard, we got Luka Doncic. Every 10K we hit, we are going to add a new member to the basketball team. So yes, please hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get going on this, man. Okay, so last night it was reported that the Philadelphia 76ers have offered a contract to one of the most just difference makers out there, man. Defensively, you probably thought I was talking about Bradley Beal. No, man, they offered up PJ Tucker a 3-year, $30 million contract. I don't think he's officially accepted or anything like that. There's a lot of teams really interested in him. Yesterday, he did decline his, I believe it was his player option of about $7 million. So at the age of 37, he's looking for one more great size bag. And I will say, like, $30 million for a 37-year-old PJ Tucker, at least with PJ, you know exactly what you are getting. So I guess that's like a good thing. I mean, if you like what you got PJ Tucker, which is corner threes and, you know, situationally great defense, depending on who he's playing against and everything, then yeah, I would say like it's still pretty pricey. In a way, maybe he'll be like a Danny Green replacement or something like that. I don't really know, man, but PJ Tucker's cool and everything. That's not the big news story here. We'll get to the other one here in a second. I just like being a troll. I do apologize for that. But alrighty, man, let's get going on this. So this is all the news that I've seen over the course of the past 24 hours. This one's pretty recently. The Boston Celtics are interested in the Warriors' number 28 pick in the draft tomorrow night. This is per Sean Devaney right here. And yeah, I guess the only thing the Celtics can say is like, oh man, you took our championship, we're taking your damn draft pick, right? But as far as like a player that the Warriors would be interested in getting, I mean, the Warriors definitely like, I feel like their roster was pretty much set. Like, they got to make some choices about, you know, like sending Andrew Wiggins or, you know, Jordan Poole and everything like that. Maybe you get like a point guard for the bench unit or something. But I would say maybe one player the Warriors could be interested in. I can see a guy like this fitting into the lineup. It's like Daniel Tice. I think he's still on the Celtics, right? So, yeah, maybe somebody like that. But otherwise, I don't know. I'd rather, if I was the Warriors, just either trade the pick for salary cap relief or just draft a player knowing they're on a very small rookie contract. It's not going to really be that much of a financial hit. I would not take on like a super large contract just to trade away that pick or anything. Next up, yeah, we did talk about PJ Tucker, 3-year, $3 million contract deal, or offer, I should say. This is via Pompey on Sixers, and I think he's like a beat writer for the 76ers. This one's kind of interesting. So we talked about Clint Capella to the Timberwolves yesterday. This is a report that Minnesota is showing interest in Rudy Gobert. It sounds like they are really committed to trying Cat out at the power forward position and putting some sort of defensive center at center. Rudy Gobert is going to be a lot more expensive than Clint Capella, not only financially speaking, but also just from a trade standpoint. And I don't know, man. I mean, Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, it would be interesting to watch. I ain't gonna lie, be like this new age, like Twin Towers type of offense, defensive juggernaut thing going on. I would be intrigued by it, but as far as a trade to get it done, I mean, you're probably looking at D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, probably some draft picks, you know, whatever other salary needs to happen to get that done. Then you're looking at a big three of Cat, Rudy Gobert, and of course Anthony Edwards. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. I don't think they should do it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. The next one we have up here is a player that I am surprised that teams weren't going after last NBA trade deadline, and that is Arie Gordon. So the 76ers and Suns are among the teams expressing interest in Arie Gordon per ESPN's Brian Windhorst. And yeah, man, I mean, Arie Gordon I still think has a lot to offer. I do not like him as a full-time starter. I think at this point in his NBA career, just looking at like injury history and really his age and everything, you much rather probably want to use him as like a six-man off the bench, which is great because you know, he's a good insurance policy that he can play that role, get you buckets, you know, pretty consistently. But if you have a case where, you know, a player gets injured or something like that, he can no doubt fill in as a short-term starter for really any NBA team. So yeah, what was the teams I was saying? Phoenix Suns, I do like that a lot. 76ers. Yeah, the 76ers look like they're trying to beef up that bench a little bit. And especially, you know, Danny Green's injury, he's probably going to retire from basketball. You would have to think. How old is Danny Green? Like 35, 36, getting a torn ACL, you know, towards the tail end of the playoffs. Like, yeah, I don't blame them for looking for a replacement, man. Next up, we have, this one actually kind of gets to me a little bit. I'm just going to say, the New York Knicks have talked about offering multiple first-round picks in a package for the number 4th pick in the 2022 NBA draft. So with that one right there, it sounds like the Knicks are really heavily interested in Jaden Ivey, and why wouldn't they be? I mean, he is going to be a great guard, in my opinion, in the NBA. I think his athleticism and everything like that would fit nicely in the backcourt to more of a, you know, like shooting offensive juggernaut in Emmanuel Quickly. I think, yeah, as far as the future goes, yeah, if they can do that, it is a big risk because obviously, especially with this draft class, like, we know there's a lot of talented players, but we don't know exactly, like, who's going to be the best of the best, right? Like, typically you can look at, like, some of the top dudes in a draft and be like, okay, like, this guy is definitely going to be a star. Have that be, like, Anthony Davis or a Cade Cunningham or an Anthony Edwards. And then there's just, like, point where it's like, all right, well, one of these dudes got to be a bust, and we don't know who it's going to be, man. But I think Jaden Ivey's going to be great. I want him as a member of the Detroit Pistons. If the Knicks trade multiple first-round picks to get him, then they definitely deserve him at that point. And I would be cool taking, like, Shaedon Sharpe or that Mathurin dude. People saying he's really solid, too, and everything. So, yeah, a lot of solid choices there all around. But from a Knicks standpoint, what are they picking at right now, man? I don't know what their exact draft pick is, but trying to trade from that top 4, like, it is a little pricey to do that. All right, next one we have. Okay. Here we go. Reports. The Lakers are expected to pick up Stanley Johnson's $2.4 million team option this summer. Good for Stanley Johnson, man. A lot of you guys might know or don't know that Stanley Johnson is the first NBA player to ever block me on Twitter back when he played for the Detroit Pistons. I think it was a rookie Ben Simmons. No, not the joke. The actual rookie version of Ben Simmons dropped like a triple-double on Stanley. And I called him out saying, man, how you going to be letting like a 20-year-old doing this to you or something like that? And he blocked me. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like, there's just like that specific era of just bad Detroit Piston memories, essentially the last 15 years, let's call it like it is. And guys like Stanley Johnson, Josh Smith at small forward, Kyle Singler. Oh, man. One way to get to me. Alrighty, here we go. We have, this is via Woj Bomb himself, saying, if you are a GM in the NBA and Daryl Morey hasn't called and offered you the number 23 pick and Matisse Thybulle for someone on your roster, you probably have had your phone shut off, man. So yeah, with Matisse Thybulle, he's obviously like one of the better defensive players, you know, when it comes down to players in the NBA. The issue is that he does not have a lick of offensive skills. And I'm sorry, man, but if you're all offense and have no defense, you're a liability. You don't get to play in the NBA. I think a prime example of that is someone like a Jimmy Fredette. Like, that dude absolutely killed it in college. Y'all remember Jimmy Range, man. Dude couldn't play any defense, though. So I think you look at the other side of the spectrum with that. You know, you might be able to clamp up a player every now and then, but if they score on you at all, have any sort of offensive output, and, you know, you can't score yourself to back that up, it kind of negates your defensive efforts. I think that's how I think about, like, in my head. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's how I look at it. You know, it's one thing to be great at a skill set, but when you can't do anything at all when it comes to another large part of the game, you're just hurting yourself. But I still think that Matisse has room to at least, you know, be like a good, like, corner three-point shooter. Like, that's, like, efficiently the best three-point shot you can have in the NBA. I guess, like, the trajectory of the ball is a little bit shorter or something, so maybe work on that part of his game. You know, he's a lengthy dude. Work on the slashing. He can still be a great NBA player, man. I still think a lot of teams could use him, but, you know, he's got to do some things for himself. And now we have the big one here, guys. This is the big one. Breaking. And by breaking, this is probably about 22 hours ago to make it. Probably about 18 hours ago to making this video. Bradley Beal will decline his $36 million player option for the 2022 season and will enter unrestricted free agency this summer. So he is looking for a new deal, not necessarily a new team. I will say I don't know how this affects as far as like a supermax goes. I still think Washington can probably offer him a supermax contract, right? You guys let me know that in the comment section below. Like, I say this in other videos. You guys educate me just as much as I educate you. Like, I don't know every single aspect about every single thing when it comes down to the NBA. But yeah, like looking at Bradley Beal, which teams make sense, man? Like, he's a great player. He's a great player. I mean, you know, once upon a time, I know the Philadelphia 76ers were interested. That was probably before, you know, well, yeah, it was before they got James Harden. I don't know exactly what's going on with James Harden these days either. So let's say James Harden leaves. Maybe the 76ers are a good opportunity for Bradley Beal to play by one of the greatest centers in the NBA in Joel Embiid. Maybe there's some sort of like sign and trade or financial movements around and he ends up going to a team that we know he's been linked to in the past, being the Boston Celtics. I think that's another really good spot for him too. He could be that guy over in the Miami Heat. Once again, man, like, there's been plenty of rumors in the NBA about sign and trade possibilities of Tyler Hero for Donovan Mitchell. I can't see why that couldn't also extend out to Bradley Beal over to the Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero over to the Washington Wizards. So there's lots of different ways you can look at it. Do I think Bradley Beal is going to leave the Washington Wizards? I think he's really, really going to embrace, you know, just this opportunity to be an unrestricted free agent. Like, Bradley Beal has been a loyal player for the Wizards. He just has been, man. But, you know, at this point, he's coming off an injury-riddled season. He's 29. This is probably going to be like his, well, I would say it's probably going to be like his last super big contract. It's going to take him to about the age of 34. But I think he probably has 2 more large contracts in him, assuming he can stay up with his efficiency and everything like that and keep his body right. But, yeah, there comes a point where you can be loyal to your franchise, but unless you really see a trajectory of winning basketball and the pieces put into place to do so, I don't blame him, man, for, you know, just taking a chance and seeing what else is out there. I mean, let's look at this Wizards roster right now. They do not have a point guard. They don't have a point guard. I mean, yeah, you can call Ish Smith a point guard, but no, Ish Smith is a dude that plays point guard, man. You know, Kristaps Porzingis has so many just like injury histories, things with him, and just somebody that has proven not to really step up in the playoffs all the time. So I do think if Bradley Beal went back to the Wizards, he would give it his all, and I think they would make things work and still be a good basketball team. But I don't know, man. I'm definitely like on the fence about this one. Like, should he leave or should he go? You guys let me know in the comment section below. But I do think that is the end of all the rumors for the past 24 hours, at least all the major ones that I have seen. Let me go on Twitter real quick here, guys, and just see if anything else has popped up last second, because sometimes that happens. Okay, we have why Kevin Durant is Kyrie Irving's real leverage. That's via Woj. Here we go. We have the Nets and Hawks will make a run at PJ Tucker this offseason. So we know the asking price, about $10 million a season. And beyond that, that is everything here, man. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.